is KFI AM 640. Handel here, March 25 on a Wednesday. Now, the other day we talked about this fabulous anti-gay initiative. Orange County lawyer Matthew Gregory McLaughlin filed a ballot proposal with the state attorney general's office, $200, and it calls for the killing of gay people, the Sodomite Suppression Act. And I love just the language of it. Seeing that it is better that offenders should die rather than that all of us should be killed by God's just wrath against us for the folly of tolerating wickedness in our midst. Oh, God, I love that language. The people of California wisely command, in the fear of God, that any person who willingly touches another person of the same gender for the purposes of sexual gratification be put to death by bullets to the head, or by any other convenient method. Pile drivers, maybe? No idea. Also, no gays, sodomites could hold public office. The problem is, how do dead people hold public office anyway? That's a little redundant, isn't it? And those found guilty of spreading pop propaganda, even though you're not gay, but you believe in gayness, would be fined $1 million and or thrown in jail for 10 years. Now, State Representative Mark Leno questioned the author's, even his sanity.
Over the years, we all encounter bizarre individuals, so I think this fellow really is potentially mentally unstable.
Potentially? Most California residents are pretty shocked by this.
Obviously, the guy had some screws loose. He didn't quite think that through. I think it's psychotic, honestly.
Now, I don't know if it's psychotic. I don't think it's psychotic at all. I think it's a guy who is particularly anti-gay, and I'm sure he's totally mentally fine. He just has let's say, a very strong belief about God and God's wrath and homosexuality. Now, he has his $200 paid. It's moving forward. And now the bill's sponsor must gather signatures. That's the law. The equivalent of 5% of those who voted in the last election for governor, about 366,000 names. Now, the part that I don't understand is that he has already gotten 35,000 names, according to change.org. 35,000 people? I guess there's that many. And then it goes to the voters on the ballot, and even if it passed, it has some one or two legal problems. For example, it goes against a lot of state and federal laws and the constitutional right to due process. You know, for example, you're accused of touching someone else for sexual gratification. I don't know. And, of course, making it on the ballot. No. However, Attorney General Kamala Harris has no options. If they get the signatures, this goes on the ballot. Now, of course, once it goes on the ballot and passes, Supreme Court steps right in and invalidates it because it is against the California Constitution. And the analogy here is, what if we were to vote that all Hispanics, or you could have a part of your neighborhood where Hispanics don't move in, and everybody votes it in? California law, right? No. It's in violation of the Constitution, both California and the federal. So here is, I want to give you just some fun facts. Killing 1.4 million people, which is about how many gay people they think are around. First of all, there would be 2 fewer members of Congress because 2 members of Congress are gay. $40 million loss in state tax revenue, $112 million in federal tax revenue, and the trials can cost up to $1 million. Incidentally, there is a move to disbar him, and I don't think he's going to be disbarred. I think he's allowed to do this. This is not an ethical issue as far as the state bar is concerned. This is totally allowed to happen, and I don't think they have a choice at all. Now, possible punishments, a warning letter from the bar to actual suspension, but this has absolutely nothing to do with his ability to practice law. And he has to be determined to be clinically crazy before the state bar is going to yank him. He was admitted to the bar in 1998. He went to UC Irvine as undergraduate, George Mason University, and in In 2004, see, this is not unusual for someone like this. In 2004, he proposed a ballot measure that would allow the King James Bible to be taught in public schools. Interesting. Yeah, he failed to obtain the signatures needed, although the Bible is taught in public schools. Did you know that? Yeah, I think it was in 9th grade, I took a course, and the Bible was part of the literature, and it's just considered literature. It wasn't taught for the purposes of religion. Matter of fact, the teacher made a point of this. This is not for religion. It's the point of this is a body of work that probably influenced more people in the world than any other body of work, which is legitimate. It is totally legitimate. All right, now we have more on this. This is hilarious because there's a response to this, and that is someone has filed the Intolerant Jackass Act to protect free speech, and if you happen to be part of the intolerance and part of the Jackass Act, guess what? You die too! Sure, why not? Can you imagine if both of those were on the ballot? And what ends up happening? Which one wins? Who dies first? The intolerant people or the tolerant people? Well, tolerant if you believe in allowing gay people to survive, for example. I'm assuming that that would be defined as tolerant. And we'll be back with the Intolerant Jackass Act, and then a quick story I want to share with you about a museum in Idaho, and I just love stuff like this. This is KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640, Handel here, and good morning on, what is it, a Wednesday, March 22. All right, covering just before the break, talked about the Sodomite Suppression Act, where if you are a sodomite, you die. It's that simple. A crazy-ass lawyer. Oh, a correction, incidentally. I had mentioned that there were 35,000 signatures out of 366,000 that is going to be to put the Sodomite Suppression Act on the ballot. I misspoke. Actually, I conflated, is what I did. Just call me Brian Williams. Thank you. That's the 35,000 are the signatures to disbar the attorney who put that on. That's close enough, isn't it? Sure. Why not? Anyway, back we go to the story, because there is a response to the Sodomite Suppression Act, and that's Charlotte Laws, a former LA politician and a community activist, has now introduced the Intolerant Jackass Act. Page that says any person herein known as an intolerant jackass who brings forth a ballot measure that suggests the killing of gays and or lesbians, whether the measure be called the Sodomite Suppression Act or any other name, shall be required to attend sensitivity training for at least 3 hours per month for 12 consecutive months. In addition, the offender or intolerant jackass must donate $5,000 to a pro-gay or pro-lesbian organization. Is this fun or what? How entertaining is this?